Dog Comedy TV. It's live comedy on YouTube, and tonight you are watching Slumber Party with Ophira Kaloff. And speaking of Ophira Kaloff, it's time that I introduce her. It's your host, Ophira Kaloff.
Hello! It's me, Ophira Kaloff. Welcome to Slumber Party, the show that is every second Tuesday night. That's all about just being cozy, finding a nice little moment at the beginning / middle of your week at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Yes, so my name is Ophira Kaloff, and to give you a brief visual description of myself, I'm a white, fat, disabled, femme-presenting human. I have long brown curly hair, and I think that this is one of the first shows in Slumber Party history that my hair is down and not in a messy bun at the back of my head. So, you know, keeping things very exciting over here. I'm wearing turquoise thick-rimmed glasses, a white and navy blue neck brace, and a sort of burgundy shawl thing. And I'm sitting on my couch with a bunch of pillows behind me and a purple and gold fabric wall hanging. And I'm super, super excited. I'm using a lot of hand gestures and smiling quite a lot because I love this show and I love this space. And for whoever's watching, I love you too. Thank you for being part of this. As we are sort of gathered here in this digital space, I'd like us to take a moment to also acknowledge the lands that each of us are individually on, the lands and waterways, and also the caretakers of those lands, past, present, and future. I'm currently streaming in from Toronto, which is the territory of many nations, recorded and unrecorded, including the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, and the Wendat people. And they, along with many other First Nations, again, recorded and unrecorded throughout history, have stewarded this land. And I just want to take a moment to say how incredibly grateful I am. Today, for those of you who are also based in Toronto, it was a gorgeous, beautiful day. Sunny, blue skies, the trees were just so stunning. And I'm incredibly grateful to be on this land that's been cared for so incredibly. And I want to take a moment to also acknowledge that it's November, and November is Indigenous Disability Awareness Month. And that was established by the Métis Nation, British Columbia, the BC First Nations Summit, and the Assembly of First Nations, along with the Council of Yukon First Nations. And it's really an opportunity to invite everyone to deepen their learning and really seek out narratives about Indigenous disability experiences, which is something that is a unique experience that is not talked about often enough. So we're here. It's November, although usually at this time of year, I'm feeling all the need to cozy up. And because it was so beautiful today, I'm like sweating a bit. But maybe I'm just sweating because I'm so excited about our guest for the show today. Like, okay, this is a person that when the idea for Slumber Party first came up, I was like, ooh, I want them on this show. And I'm so happy that they said yes, and they're here today. This person has been like really doing quite a lot of things lately. They were on the Accessibility and Comedy panel for Assembly Improv. They just performed at the Real Abilities Film Festival Comedy Night, and now they're here on Slumber Party. So enough of me talking. It is time to introduce the incredible Avan. Yay! Welcome.
Hey.
How are
Hi,
you
Ophira.
doing?
Thank you for the warm introduction. I do not deserve all those kind of words. Those were really sweet. Well, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Do you mind giving just a little visual description of yourself?
Oh, yes. So I am a Black um femme presenting um a person with short, spiky hair that also has some blonde streaks in it right now. And I am wearing a white top that that is kind of in this like I don't know what you'd call this texture, like it's a white top that it has like a
I mean, in the video, I'm thinking, like, is it paisley?
no, it's not. Like, I guess you could just see it as like white, but it kind of looks like cotton balls, but it's not cotton balls. And it
Oh,
kind of, yeah, it's a really weird feeling texture, but it's really nice and comfortable. And I really like this top. Yeah. And it's kind of, it has a little bit of like black in it. And it's a really weird top. And if you felt it, it felt really interesting as well. I'm so sorry. I am really bad at this.
no, that's great. I feel like we don't talk about texture enough in visual descriptions, but it's super helpful. Like it's very tied to it all. I just realized that I didn't say my pronouns. I use both she, her, and they, them pronouns. Avan, what pronouns do you use?
I use they, them pronouns as well.
Amazing. Okay. I am so excited to chat with you. But first, for anyone who has watched Slumber Party before, you know what's coming. For anyone who hasn't, so this is a party. And I get really stressed out about parties sometimes. If someone's just like, oh, show up for an unspecified amount of time for unspecified activities and unspecified foods and people that you may or may not know. And I'm like, maybe I'm just going to stay home. So for this party, because I'm the host and I get to control what happens, I have some house rules that I just go over at the beginning of each show to make sure we're all on the same page. We know what's coming. So are you ready for them? Yeah?
I'm ready for them. Yeah.
Amazing. Let's go into house rules. So we have some house rules that will probably be popping up on screen. But yes, okay, the number one rule, the most important rule for the show is you do you. Honestly, this is the beauty of digital performance, and in my mind, the beauty of all performance. We'd love for you to engage with the show in whatever way works best for you. So some of that is with your own device. You can turn the volume and brightness up or down to whatever suits you. You can also come and go, snack or drink. You can turtle, have a dance party, do jumping jacks. I don't know why I said that. I don't know who enjoys jumping jacks, but maybe you do. And if so, great. And you can also chat with us. So on your device, probably either on the side or underneath, there's a live chat. And you can ask us any questions. They can be silly questions. They can be serious questions. Or you can just engage in whatever way. And if that doesn't work for you, that's totally cool too, because that's the point of this role. The second part of this is to let you know kind of what to expect. So during the show, there will be integrated visual descriptions where possible. So that's basically like what Avan and I did at the start of the show is we gave a little bit of a visual description of what we look like. And if anything visual comes up during the course of the show, we'll do our best to also describe that as it comes up. There will also be an archived recording of the show with captions added. Those captions are professionally done and they usually are up within a week and a half to 2 weeks at the most. And there will be music throughout the show. And oh my goodness, as already evidenced, there will for sure be silliness. Things that there won't be any strobe effects. So that's just like pulsing bright lights. We won't have any of that. And we're also going to avoid any super sudden noises or like loud bangs or anything that's sudden on the sensory front. So the next part of this is that this party has a schedule. As I mentioned, just sometimes it's good to know what's happening so that you're not like, okay, I'm starving, but, I have no idea when the pizza's coming. So the first part of the schedule is introduction and house rules, which we are already making our way through. And after we're done the house rules, we're going to go into snacks and chats, which is exactly what it sounds like. We are going to have snacks and we are going to chat. And if anyone watching wants to have snacks and also chat with us through the live chat feature, that would be super lovely. After that, we're going into the entertainment section. And for this today, Avan sharing with us a sketch, a video sketch that they just did and was screened at the Real Abilities Film Festival Comedy Night. I'm so excited to share it on here, and we'll probably chat just a little bit about it afterwards. Before we arrive at the point of the night, that's kind of at every slumber party. You get to that point, you're getting a little bit, you've had a lot of sugar or alcohol or other substances, or you're just really tired and things get a little bit silly. So we're going to do a little thing to honor that moment of a slumber party before we say goodnight, because that'll be the end of the show and time for all of us to go to bed because, oh geez, it's a Tuesday night. Great. And then the very last part of this is that this is a free party, but if you want to give a host gift, you can donate. You can check out the link that should be right under this video and will pop up in the chat as well. It's baddogtheater.com/slumberparty. You can donate there. And the cool thing is Bad Dog Theater Company is actually a registered charity. You can get a tax receipt for getting a ticket to the show, which is very, very cool and would be awesome because that would help keep this show and all of the other amazing shows on Bad Dog TV running. Okay. I think I did it. Those are all of the rules. We know what we're in for. Hopefully. Do you feel like you know what you're in for? Okay.
I feel like I know exactly what I'm in for.
Thank goodness. Okay, then I think we should officially move into the next section, which is snacks and chats.
I saw the popcorn animation on the other one that I saw, and I just want to say it's super adorable and really really cute. It's for those who don't know, it's a popcorn that's dancing and it's shooting popcorn out of its head, and it's super just darling. It's just darling.
A little popcorn stick figure who's just happy and being like, yeah, let's do it. Which, yeah, I'm definitely nowhere near a graphic designer, but I came across that in a platform called Canva that I was using, and I was like, yes, you drag and drop and make it official. Okay, I figure we came into snacks and chats, and so the first very important question is what snacks do you have going on for the show tonight?
Well, I brought some tea because I love some tea, and tea just makes me feel super calm and super in a relaxing talking mood. And I also have some peaches in a bowl here, but I don't think you'll be able to see them. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to see them, but they're in here. Believe me that they're in here.
I believe you. And this is so funny because I asked Avan about snacks before we came on, and then they asked me about food, and my snack is, I don't think I can, maybe, yeah, a little bit. I have frozen mango that's like slowly melting in this bowl. You know, like the chopped frozen mango that I think is supposed to be used in smoothies mostly. But I just eat it plain. It's so good. It's like candy.
I mean, my niece does that too, and she loves it. Like my niece does
Yeah.
that, her mom does that, and I'm just like, I don't personally understand it, but like you do you. I'm not here to judge anyone, you know? Like,
I appreciate knowing that other people do it because honestly,
yeah.
like I feel like once I think it started because I was taking it out to defrost it. And then I was gonna use it in something, but then I just got hungry and was like, like maybe if I just eat
It's
it.
like, nope. I mean, fair. I've done that too, where I've been half cooking something, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go for something a lot easier and simpler. Like, it's
Yes.
just sometimes it's just
And
it's
like
just one of those times, one of those days.
sometimes I don't know. There are certain things that I realize they're not supposed to be eaten plain, but like why not? You know, like shredded cheese that like you buy in the bag, and that like I'll go to use for something, but then I'm like, or I could just like eat it. You know?
Yeah, I do that all the
Be
time,
done.
and it's really embarrassing. I do that when I go to like put it on stuff. I will sneak some in my own mouth, and I'm like, and then I just start eating it from the bag, and I'm like, you're supposed to be making something with this right now. Like, can you just get your stuff together, please? Or I I eat plain Triscuits, and I feel like that's weird.
Ooh.
I feel like
See,
people are always like, why?
I mean, again, like you do you, like no judgment.
I mean, fair.
I just feel like they're a bit dry.
They are, but they can be really good. Okay, like I'm not gonna try to like convince you to like become a Triscuit eater or something, but like they are really good. Like I really love Triscuits. What can I say? Like
Honestly, I think that's a great, like, they look, I remember there used to be all these commercials for them that were, like, so fancy, and people were using them as, like, the base of these elaborate things. So,
yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, Triscuits are the, like,
They're
adult
like
version of a cracker. Like, they're elevated.
they really are, but there's something in my mind where I'm just like, oh. And I think it's just like the tactileness of like having to stack stuff on the Triscuit. I'm just like, no, I don't have time for that. Like, I don't have the dexterity for that. Let me just put it right in here and just eat it right in my mouth hole and just eat it. Like,
Yeah, and just be done. Like, oh, okay. I love this. I feel like there's also a part of it of like, because for me, like standing is not my body's favorite things to do. So when I get into my kitchen, I'm just like, what can I grab? What can I grab and like go to the couch with? So I end up with just collections of like boxes or bagged things. Just like I just like cuddle with them on my couch. Essentially, I'm like, cool, we're all together.
that is really adorable. I need to figure out, like, I don't know what are, like, snacks. Like, I don't know what good snacks are. Like, when you said to bring a snack, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to bring. Because, like, growing up, like, my mom made us eat, like, really healthy. So, like, snacks weren't really a thing that was, like, in the house. Or if it was, like, vegetables or things like that, you know what I mean? So like now that I'm older, I'm like, what do people, how like my brain breaks when like I need to figure out like how to snack. I'm like, I don't know how people snack. Like I just eat small meals and I'm sorry,
we have a contributor saying that they also eat plain crackers for much the same reasons. So
yes,
I mean,
thank you.
validation.
See?
I mean, okay, I haven't had Triscuits plain, but I have, and I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I'm Jewish, and on the holiday called Passover, there's you eat this thing called matzah, which is basically it's basically like a cracker, a like square cracker that is pretty bland. But I have been known there's like some garlic flavored matzah or just like some fancier matzah, and I'll just slowly like break off a little corner here, a little corner there, then the rectangle piece, and slowly make my way.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Like,
It's true.
sometimes they make food too stackable, and I'm like, I don't know who you think I am or like the type of dexterity I got, but like, listen, I got stuff to do today, so like.
Okay, brilliant transition. Speaking of stuff to do in the day, how are you doing overall? Like, I feel like there's always this question about like how are you doing during the pandemic, but I'm wondering like what are things that are bringing you joy? What's some excitement? Or just what are things like for you right now?
What are the things like? Okay, well, excuse me. Right now, things are going pretty well. It's gonna sound, I guess, odd, but I recently just got this worker, and like she's slowly becoming like less of a worker and more of a friend, and like that relationship is bringing me so much joy. Like having somebody to come in and like help with like the day-to-day things, but also just having somebody to like talk to during this time, or just to like hear what like her housemates are doing, and for her to like hear about like all of the stuff that I'm doing with like a lot of my acting things, and like I'll like she's not a part of the acting world like whatsoever, so I'll like send her like monologues and stuff for her to print out for me, and it's just really funny because she'll be like, I am not an actor, but I think that you're great, and I'm just like, I need you to follow me around and just shower me with compliments all the time, because like she's just, I don't know, like she's just super darling, and she's like made this time in quarantine a little bit easier. I don't think that that's what you were getting at, but like
No, it
that's
for
the
sure
first.
was.
Okay, cool. Because like I don't know, she's the first thing that like it popped into my head in terms of like what's bringing me joy currently. And obviously like I've been able to, I think like, okay, so like I don't know, like I don't want to say like auditioning brings me joy, because it doesn't, because auditioning is like the most like nerve-wracking thing on the planet. But like the opportunity to be able to audition. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That brings me joy. Yeah.
Do you mean
Um
also in terms of things being online?
yeah, like I guess things just being more accessible to me, and me feeling like I'm able to go for things, and like I won't be rejected because of my disability. Yeah. And okay, I watched Glow Up last night, and I literally could not sleep. I literally finished the second season the entire way through. I am obsessed. Um it's funny because like I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen Glow
I
Up?
have not,
Okay,
but
well
I'm very
it's
intrigued.
it's basically a show, like it's weird because like I am not a makeup person, like I don't wear makeup in my day-to-day life, but like I never truly realized how much of an art form it actually is. And watching it, and like these people are not just like doing makeup, but they're like painting canvases on these like models faces, and it's the most like beautiful um like expression of art ever. And I don't know, there's just something really cool about taking a medium that people kind of look at as this like mundane thing, and turning it into like a masterpiece.
Oh,
um yeah, I love stuff like that. I guess TV's been bringing me joy. Talking to you honestly brings me so much joy. Can I say
That's so
that?
sweet.
You bring me so much joy. You and your I don't like confidence, or what am I trying to say? Um I don't know, like you just have this way of like uplifting me that I'm just like, I can do anything now. Ophelia said I can. Like I'm gonna take
I
on the
feel
world. Like
I feel like, first of all, thank you. That is the kindest. I also feel like that makes me sound like an Energizer bunny, and
I mean, am I wrong though? Am I wrong?
you know what? I probably am like the combination of an Energizer bunny plus like Sleepy from like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Like if you put the two together, and they sound like they don't work. But
No, I
if you
can totally
smush
see it. And that's why it's so funny to me. You're so right though. You're so
just like, and
but
it's
like
not like I go back and forth. It's like I am both of those all the time.
oh my god. No, but like to be fair, Sleepy was the best dwarf out of all of
Yes.
them. He was my favorite out of all of them. I haven't seen that movie in
Relatable.
right? Like I haven't seen that movie in forever, but now like I kind of want to rewatch it. I feel like it's probably the most wholesome Disney movie that's ever been made.
You know, I have this thing, and like Disney has a lot of issues,
Yeah.
like that are very important and serious.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, I'm someone who never, you know, like most people, like you're a kid and you watch it, and then you get older and go through like a cool phase, and you're like, oh, I don't watch kids movies, and then you like come back around as an adult and are like, oh, nostalgia, childhood. I never went through that in between stage. Like I just constantly, I was like a comfort movie kind of person. And especially, I mean, musical stuff. Like I'm such a sucker for a good like narrative story that has music and singing woven in. I just
Yeah.
watching that
I
with like a
mean,
cup of hot chocolate. Like what can you do? What can you do?
it's sad because I haven't seen a lot of musicals, but I know a lot of musical music. And I feel like I listen to more musical music than watching musicals. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
I
love musical music.
okay. This is planting a seed for what we're gonna do at the end of the show, because we're tying all the threads. But Hamilton the musical.
Yes. Okay. So I love Hamilton the musical, not because Hamilton the man was a good man or anything, but because of what Luke, I can never say his name, but the guy who made Luke Moran, please
Yes,
help me. I'm butchering
Lin-Manuel
it.
Miranda.
Thank you. What he's done with it and how he's taken like the struggle and turned it into I guess like how he's taken it and made it into like a narrative that anybody can understand, but also has put it in the hands of marginalized people of today, which I find is really kind of interesting and a very different take on history. And that's kind of why I love the musical, because it's such a like it's like I don't even want to say it's ahead of its time. It's just really genius, you know? Like it's just such a genius thing that nobody believed that it would work. Like everyone, like I have spent too much time watching like watching um what are they called? YouTube videos about the music in Hamilton, how it was made, all that stuff. Like I kind of went down a rabbit hole when I first watched it because I was like, this is amazing. I need to know more. And like just I don't know, like I get like it's weird because like I'm not a singer. Like I know you are a singer, but I'm not really a singer. But like I just really get really into like how music can like move you and shape your perspective, and how music can tell a narrative. I get really like it's weird because like I'm very attached to music. I have a really interesting relationship with like music, and I don't think people expect that from me. But I grew up in a home where there was always music playing. Like I go back home now. Sorry, and there's like Afro music playing in my mom's house. Like, and that was the type of home I grew up in, and I grew up with like 80s music, 70s music, and she'll still play that stuff today. And like I still listen, and like I listen to that stuff on my own time. Like I listen to stuff. I think I listen to stuff that's more old than I listen to stuff that's new. Honestly, there's just something about music that just takes me to this like place that like I guess it makes me feel like it makes me like feel my feelings, I think is what I'm trying to say. And like what better way to do that than to like put that into a show where like a drama where it's all about feelings and perspective, and you can add the music to make it even more dramatic. Like I don't know, I just think that musicals are masterpieces, okay? Like I think that they're works of art, and I think Hamilton using like rap to make the sonnets work is just like it's genius, and nobody thought it was gonna work. And I can't like I love Hamilton the musical. It's a really well done musical, and ultimately it gives a lot of work to a lot of people of color that otherwise wouldn't have been seen. And I think that that's the most important thing about Hamilton the musical, to me anyway, as a Black person, that like people that are Black and that are Asian and that are sorry well, people of color really are getting the chance to like be seen on this global stage where otherwise they like wouldn't be noticed by like a giant population. And all of them are so talented. Like all of them are just so talented.
Yeah, like incredibly in their own right before coming together to form the ensemble.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting very close to the time of showing your work, but I just want to, because this was such a perfect opportunity. I just wanted to ask you like about sort of your work and your process and what drive. I always ask people, I'm like, why art? Like, why? What's your why for why you're into it, why you create it?
Well, the short answer is because feelings.
Why art? Because feelings. Perfect.
That was the first thing that popped into my head when you said why art. I'm like, because feelings. I feel too much sometimes. I'm like, is there an off button for my feelings? Like I sometimes I am like, okay, like this is too much for me to even handle. Like I like I don't do art. Like I need art. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
like art is who I am, and it's who I've always been. It's weird because like I remember being such a shy and like frail child, and like I remember like getting up on stage and like doing those like child music like I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on musicals. those
Guys, they're
those like
so
child
good.
I know um, those like child plays when you're like 5 or 6, and I would just be trembling up there. But there was just something that kind of told me that like I don't know, like I've always been this person that like wanted to beat their fears. Like I've always been that person. Um, so I just kept doing it as like a way to get over my stage fright. At first, it was just a way to get over stage fright. But then I started to like realize I was good at it. Like I realized that like acting was something I was good at. And then I don't know how deep you want me to get, but I went through a lot of like mental health issues in high school and just like in my life, and I feel like art has always been a way for me to like express feelings that weren't okay to express in like the real world. Um, I also write and I do poetry as well, and I feel like art, or I feel like writing poetry especially is such a wonderful narrative to be able to write about like how you're feeling or an experience. And it's interesting because even if you write about somebody, you can look back at that and like half the people I've written about, I don't even remember that person, but like writing it takes me back to that place where I'm like, oh, I remember going through those like feelings. I remember what that felt like, even though like that situation is like long over and I don't think about that person anymore. But it's just kind of interesting that um I have a capsule of that time in my life where I felt like this was super important to me in this moment. And even if I don't necessarily remember the moment or the person or the event, I have the feelings and I have them down on paper. And I think that there's something really beautiful about like recording your life in that way. I also just, like I said, like I feel too much. Like I, I kind of act to be able to express the things that like society tells you are not allowed to express in real life. Like sadness and anger and even happiness. Like I use my art to like to express those things. I guess that's why I create, is to it's basically an outlet for me in a lot of ways. Um and it's a way for me, like, and it's an outlet in very different ways. Like I struggle with like anxiety too, and like um before the show, like we were talking and and like we were talking about like improv, and I used to do improv, and improv was great because like it takes you right out of your own head. Like you have no time to think about what's happening, like you just have to go. And like I am constantly thinking about like what's going to happen, the worst case scenario. Even now, like I've talked to you a million times and I am still very nervous talking to you right now. And like in improv, like it's just one of those things where like you just like you just have to say the first thing that comes out of your mind, to be able to make the scene work. um and sometimes I need that, like sometimes I need to get out of my own skull and just be in the moment. And other times I need to feel my feelings, and other times I need to just like express like intense sadness or intense anguish for somebody or something that has happened to me in my life. I don't know. I'm a very expressive performer, I think. I think I'm a very like, I need to be like, like I need to be like out there and expressing how I feel with my art. It can't be contained and it can't be watered down. Otherwise, like to me, it's not my art and it's not art that speaks to me. I hope that answers your question.
I love that so much. You said such beautiful things.
Thank you.
And I think we're gonna launch right into like showing some of your work right now, so that people can see. I just want to give a very brief, like, pre-visual description of this piece. It's a video that we'll be playing, and throughout it, Avan's delivering the lines directly to the camera, and there's some like fun transitions of just like sort of in the mood, in the feeling. It's an infomercial feel. Okay, I think that's enough for the for context for visual descriptions. Let's go into the entertainment section where we can see this happen.
Hi, and welcome to Judgment Co. At Judgment Co, we have one saying: question everything. Now, there's a big difference between questioning everything and trying to understand everything. At Judgment Co, we try not to understand everything because, well, this is your brain. You already have all the answers you need. So why do you need any other information? You don't. Now, it's okay to ask questions as long as you don't honestly care about the answer or plan on changing your behavior. Make sure when you do, there's a slight contempt in your voice. Like, for example, wheelchair, why? Or do you even really need to be in that wheelchair? Sometimes you can even avoid the entire question and go straight to contempt. Like, why are you in that wheelchair? Or what's wrong with your legs? Because remember, if you can't see it, is it actually happening? It's not. It's totally valid to make comments about other people's bodies or equipment if they don't match up to your idea of disability. After all disability looks exactly the same, and anyone that tells you otherwise is clearly lying. Make sure to make the other person feel as inferior as possible because their body doesn't work as yours does and you know best. Challenge everything that doesn't seem consistent. You saw a person walk but now they're using a wheelchair? Challenge them. A person has a disability but it manifests as differently in their body? Challenge them. After all, the world's a scary place and anything you don't immediately understand is a lie and must be challenged. Now, I get it. Sometimes you want to judge people but you don't want to actually talk to these people. Here are some of the things that you can do. The side eye, the eye roll, the arm cross, the classy head shake, and even the classier finger wave. Oh, what's that? Oh no, we don't have anything for children. After all, children are little sponges and will pick up on your behavior. There you go. You have everything you need to know to excel at Judgment Co. And remember, question everything.
Oh my god, I love it so much.
It's so funny. So Ophelia actually edited that and like they got the editing done perfectly. I am so happy with it.
Thank you for saying that. Honestly, like, I remember when you just told me about the idea for this before. Oh, we got feedback. We got a heart from Alia. We got challenge that. We love that. Question everything.
Yeah.
And compliments to me. That's so kind. And hi, Connor Lowe on the tech. Alia is having a time here in the chat. Oh my god. Okay, yes. When you first told me the idea for this, and it was just, and then you wrote the script, and everything just was like, yes, this is so perfect. Because the things that are explored in it are issues that come up so much, like so much, and it's so hard to find a way to talk about them, and I just really love the approach you took for this.
Well, thank you. That's really kind. The idea came about because I just realized these, like, sometimes when I would like walk past like able-bodied people, they would have this tendency to like look through me instead of looking at me. And like, and it wasn't even like they were looking like above me, they were looking like through me. It was almost like I wasn't even there. And like I just felt judged. Like I just felt like there was something wrong with, like like to them, they just felt like there was something wrong with the way that I was. And I just thought that was like so gross, because I was like, you don't even know me. Like, you know nothing about me other than the fact that I need to be in a mobility device. Like that's all that you know, and my like, and what I physically look like. Um and you're already casting judgment on me. And then I was thinking, like, why do people do this? And it kind of like, and I don't know, like it just like I couldn't stop thinking about this, and it just snowballed into this idea of like, well, like what if there was this person in your head that kind of like gave this seminar about judgment, and how would that work, and like what would they say, and all like it just kind of like snowballed into like this sort of like idea. But that's just kind of where it came from. It came from basically ableism, but
I mean, doesn't everything?
My goal is to, I would ideally love to like challenge the way that able-bodied people look at disabled people, but I would also love disabled people to look at that and be like, oh my god, I can so relate to that. Like that is my goal. My goal is to target both sides.
Yeah. Which
yeah.
is like, I feel sometimes I get really overwhelmed in my work, feeling like I can't do both. And like when this screens at the Real Abilities Film Festival Comedy Night, the comments were just like, it seemed like people were being like, oh my god, I relate so strongly, like yes, this, all this. And also people gave feedback too of being like, didn't really think about it that way, and maybe I should change what I do.
Yay, we're changing the world.
Yes. Also, yes. Ariana and Alia Russell were getting some comments. It was awesome, Avan. And then yes. From Ariana, who just side note, Ariana is one of my favorite humans and a really good friend who's in BC. And Ariana, thank you for tuning in. That's so lovely. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we could talk about this forever, and partly because we have, because there's so much. But I did promise to end the show with an element of silliness. We've been pretty silly throughout, I would say, but we have something lined up that we're gonna try to do, because we were talking about musical theater before, we were talking about Hamilton before, and so for this last section, we're going to get to know Avan on a deep and personal. Oh my goodness, there was just a comment that popped up from Alia saying, wait, I'm not one of your favorite humans. And I just have to say that just because I have like one favorite human, it doesn't mean that I don't have multiple favorite humans. Alia Russell, one of my favorite humans as well. Right there. But Alia is not going to appreciate this next thing that's going to come up, because she is not a fan of musical theater. But Avan and I are, so deal with it. We're going to get to know Avan's deep personality Because we're gonna do a BuzzFeed quiz, which is the arbiter of all things, telling
It's
deep
the
truths.
deepest of deep quizzes. The only
Yes.
quiz that exists that are deep are on BuzzFeed. Everyone knows this.
Everyone knows this. If you
Everyone
want to
knows
know who you are, take a BuzzFeed quiz.
Exactly. It'll tell you
Therapy,
exactly
you
who
know,
you are.
like 50-50 on therapy, 100%
Therapy,
on BuzzFeed.
BuzzFeed quiz. Which one's cheaper? I like.
Ooh, so true. Also, everybody, therapy's great.
Yes,
for the
please all go to
record.
therapy.
Yeah, please go to therapy.
We're not.
Pro therapy. This is a joke. This is a joke.
Yes, it's all banter. It's all banter over here. Please, if you need therapy, go to therapy.
Yes. Also, we just went on a journey with Alia yeah, she does hate musical theater, but she's gonna bear with us, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Because we are going to find out which character from the musical Hamilton Avan is most like. That was our little silliness transition.
Okay, I feel like I know who I am.
Ooh.
But I want to know what BuzzFeed thinks I am.
Okay, we're gonna have to, after we do this quiz, just like see if BuzzFeed agrees with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna read out the questions and the options, and we're gonna do this like fairly speedy, because I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh. Okay. First question is, what is your best quality? And here are the options. So there's leadership, confidence, persistence, innovation, intelligence, empathy, oh my god, there's so many, organization, or loyalty. So, what's your best quality out of them?
I feel like this is really, like, I kind of want to know what you think my best quality is.
No.
Yeah, I'm doing this to you.
I mean, but then it's like, what character from Hamilton do I think you're most like, as opposed to this can't work.
I
feel like
kind of want to say
arguments could be made.
persistent.
Ooh,
but,
I love that. But
yeah.
Or do you want to lock
but
it in?
I also feel like empathy also works.
Mm.
Let's go with persistence.
Sold. Okay, getting into now the dark side. What is your worst quality? Also, heads up,
no.
I took this quiz earlier, so I'll tell you who I got after as well.
Okay.
So here are the options for what is your worst quality. So I don't think things through, hold grudges, moral superiority, too forgiving, control freak, never happy with what you have, ... arrogance, or not always compassionate. Did any of them jump out at you?
I feel like the first one did. I had a very visceral reaction to the first one. I never think things through. I feel like I'm a very impulsive person. So I kind of want to go with that one.
All right, let's do it. What do you want out of life? Options. I have everything I want, contentment, recognition, a legacy, fun, to make the world better, peace, or knowledge.
I think to make the world better.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Which Hamilton song, so this is only for people who have who have at least listened to the soundtrack. Which Hamilton song resonates with you most? And here are the options.
No! You are gonna know my deepest soul.
I mean, this is it. We're getting into the deep truths at the end of the night.
Can I plead the fifth?
I feel like none of these are embarrassing. I mean, think so.
If you know the songs, then they kind of are. But anyway, continue.
Okay. Our options are satisfied, helpless, wait for it, what comes next, my shot, the
Oh my
story
God.
of tonight, history has its eyes on you, and nonstop.
Okay, so I really love Nonstop. Like, if you need a song to like get you hyped, I would say Nonstop is a really good one. And also
Yeah.
My Shot's a really good one. Those two songs will hype you up for sure. Um, but like I feel like I resonate with like Satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really good song.
It's
It's too good
so
of a
good.
song. It's too good of a song. Like,
Like unfairly good. Um, ooh, you know what? In the comments, we're having a real battle here going on in between
um,
Alia and Ariane. um, and Alia's saying that she does like the song "My Shot," so we're like changing hearts and minds on this show.
good. Yay.
So the next question is, which of the 10 dual commandments is most important? So we have the challenge demands satisfaction, negotiate a peace or negotiate a time and place, confess your sins, ready for the moment of adrenaline, grab a friend, that's your seconds, your last chance to negotiate, send in your seconds, summon all the courage you require, and a doctor on site, and pray that hell or heaven lets you in. Whoa.
Damn, those are all. Okay, so here's the thing. I ain't good with sonnets, and this is not a sonnet, but like Old English is really not my thing. So you
Fair.
might have to like, can you explain what those
I
mean?
will.
I also like I am a theater student, but I really hated when we had to do Shakespeare. Shakespeare was not a thing that I ever enjoyed doing ever because I could
Yeah.
never understand what he was like. I could understand what he was saying, but I could never read what he was saying. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes. I'm going to be totally
okay.
honest. Some of these I do not know quite how to explain,
Yeah,
but
they're very
I'm
weird
going
to
to do my
me.
best. But some of them I might just be like, eh. So the first one, the challenge demands satisfaction. So I feel like if there's a fight, like there has to be a resolution. Like if someone like proposes a fight, then like it has to be met. The second one is like about negotiating peace, like or negotiating a time and place. So basically, like we have, if someone proposes to fight with you, you're gonna fight with them. We have negotiation. Then there's confess your sins, ready for the moment of adrenaline. So I think that's just about like confessing your sins,
Mhm.
and just like acknowledging that
So it's
that's
just
your.
like being like, I am a bad person.
You're just being like,
I've done bad
I
things.
fucked up. Like, I fucked up there.
Yeah.
Then there's grab a friend. That's your second, which is just about like have someone to back you up, have a friend. Your last chance to negotiate, send in your seconds. I don't really get what this is getting at. So we're
Okay.
going to skip that one. Summon all the courage you require. That's like, I think that one's more straightforward of just like the moment of like being brave. Then have a doctor on site, of, have that backup plan in place, or pray that heaven or hell lets you in. So the process of prayer.
Yeah.
Which one resonates?
I feel like, okay, so I'm gonna look at this as like today's society and not their society because they had really weird rules for a lot of weird stuff. But like, I think that the second one about forgiveness really resonates with me.
Ooh, negotiate a peace. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, what is the worst quality in a leader? We have egotistical, stupidity, inability to compromise, self-interested, cowardly, expanded scope of power, not in touch with the people, or no conviction.
Oof, this one's really touching some points here with the whole election. This one's
Honestly, I was
silly.
gonna say.
I mean, I want to say arrogance because I feel like if you're arrogant, you're not doing any of these things.
Yeah.
Like, you're just the only person you care about is you if you're arrogant.
I agree. It everything stems from it. Okay, pick an iconic line. Raise a glass to freedom, something they could never take away. If you stand for nothing, what'll you fall for? How lucky we are to be alive right now. There's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait. Dying is easy, young man. Living is harder. Awesome. Wow. Southern motherfucking Democratic Republicans. And you have no control who lives, who dies, who tells your story. First instincts.
Okay, there's so many good quotes in this freaking musical that I can't even. If you say whatever resonant, I feel like it has maybe who lives, who dies, who tells your story, but also
That's what I picked.
Yeah. But also the second one. Can you read the second one again?
If you stand for nothing, what'll you fall for?
Yeah, that one I've been thinking a lot. Just like with my work and stuff, like having something to not just doing art to do art, but doing art because you want to say something. And I think that's really important. And I think I try to live that throughout all of my art. But then it's also like who lives, who dies, who tells the story is very haunting because it's like I could do all of this work and if nobody remembers me, then it doesn't even matter. Ooh. Okay, let's quit that one.
The last one or which one?
Yeah.
All right.
The last one.
Who lives, who dies? Okay, you got Thomas Jefferson. Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to read the description if I can. It's a bit small, but I think it says, you're Thomas Jefferson. You like to argue and are passionate, confident, and energetic. You don't mind playing a little dirty, but it's out of desire to reach your honorable goals.
That's really interesting. Thank you, BuzzFeed.
I mean, this is definitive. It's BuzzFeed. I have to know, who did you think you were going to get?
I thought I was going to get Burr.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I got Lafayette, who is played by the same actor as plays Thomas Jefferson. So I feel like we're on the same wavelength.
We're still like this, so
yeah. I'm Act 1, you're Act 2. Like we're in the same show.
I mean, for real, like, yeah, I thought I was gonna get Burr just because like Burr's really I just thought I was gonna get Burr because I'm very anxious, and Burr seems like a very anxious fellow and like a person that like doesn't do anything unless he's absolutely what's being said.
We're talking about like the actors. Ariana's saying that Burr has the best songs, but we were also talking about the actor who plays Lafayette and Thomas Jefferson. I guess he's in the new show like Snowpiercer, the Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. I saw the original movie Snowpiercer. It gave me nightmares. But like I haven't seen the Netflix adaptation yet, and if Tiffy Diggs is in it, like I'm there. Because he's so good.
He's amazing. He's such an amazing actor. And like I don't think he acted before Hamilton. Like I think that was just a favor he did.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like went deep down in the hole of information.
I love this so much. Also, I'm looking at the time and we are officially at the end of the show, but I just want to say First of all, Avan, you're so wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show, for doing it, for sharing your work, and for going down this very silly BuzzFeed quiz road with me. I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching, especially shout out to the battle on dueling in the comments.
I'm sorry. I think I started a war in the comment section.
I mean, really going at it. Thank you so much to Bad Dog Comedy TV for having us on this platform. Again, if you want to donate, it's baddogtheater.com/slumber party. Thank you to Connor Lowe for being a brilliant technical director. Thank you, Avan, from the audience. Times two. Also, the fighting's resolved, thank goodness.
Okay. Phew.
Avan, do you have anything that you just like, any last, anything you want people to follow, or any just last thing you want to tell people?
You can follow my Instagram. I'm on Instagram at avanneo12, and I have a YouTube channel that I have. It's just Avaneo on YouTube, and you can follow that as well. And you can also find me on Facebook if you would like. My name is Porte on Facebook.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again. And everybody, have a nice, cozy Tuesday night. Go to sleep. It's late. And all of the love. Good night.